Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're discussing the religious significance behind the name Abaddon, and what this could tell us about Abaddon's intentions, possibly even in the near future of the main Halo story. So for those who maybe aren't up to date, it was recently announced in Halo Fractures that the Organon, this ancient precursor artifact, is in fact not an artifact, but a precursor AI who goes by the name of Abaddon. So as usual, leave a like if you enjoy the video, and let's talk about Halo and religion. So Halo has a very long history of medieval, religious, and mythological tie-ins when it comes to naming characters, locations, etc. And they all have meaning behind them. They aren't just cool names that refer back to things that we can sort of associate with in real life. There's always a reasoning behind the name. For example, the Ark, named after Noah's Ark because both were bastions of safety from the flood. But of course, in the Bible, it meant the water version of the flood, not the space zombie flood, of course. This is why the name Abaddon is super important. It's a name that carries with it some very, very interesting, apocalyptic, and evil entities. So, Abaddon is referenced in various religious books, from the Hebrew Bible to the New Testament, and specifically the Book of Revelation, aka the Apocalypse book. Yes, there may well be some meaning behind this. We're going to start off with Abaddon's inclusion in the New Testament, Revelation, as this is the only place that it's referred to as an individual rather than a place. Abaddon is described as Destroyer, the Angel of the Abyss, and the king of a plague of locusts resembling horses with crowned human faces, women's hair, lions' teeth, wings, iron breastplates, and a tail with a scorpion stinger that torments for 5 months anybody who doesn't have the seal of God on their foreheads. So, all the crazy features aside, this description actually gives us a really important look into the possibilities of Abaddon as a character in the future. Let's break down this incredibly long adjective-filled description and look at it bit by bit. Destroyer. Now, this could be referring to Abaddon's wish to punish and maybe even destroy the Foreigners for wiping out the Precursors. If you aren't aware, this is expressed pretty explicitly in Promises to Keep in Halo Fractures. Angel of the Abyss. Now, this could refer to Abaddon's links to the domain, most importantly the fact that it was the main reason the Foreigners were even able to use it. This could make Abaddon an angel technically, and I do say that in air quotes. Reason being, it's technically a precursor, and the precursors are seen by many as gods in their own right. But it's not that it's an organic raw precursor, rather an AI. This could make it not a god, but an angel. It also helped to transmit the precursor's knowledge of how to access the domain to the Foreigners, thus making it a messenger of the precursors, aka a messenger of the gods, which is the exact Oxford Dictionary definition of an angel. The Abyss could be referring to the domain, an endless chasm of intellect and knowledge. Therefore, Abaddon is the Angel of the Abyss. It's the Angel of the domain. The King of a plague of locusts. Now, in most religious settings, locusts come in the form of a plague. What comes in the form of a plague in the Halo universe? You guessed it, you're in the right place for it, the Flood. And seeing as Abaddon is a precursor AI, it would make a lot of sense for him to have ties with the Flood for obvious reasons. Maybe the punishment that he was going to exact from the Foreigners in Promises to Keep was using a form of the Flood again somehow. The super long description of what these locusts resembled could also be a very good form of symbolism. The description, as you can see on screen right now, is the culmination of many different races and tools into one unified force, the locusts. This absolutely directly mirrors the Flood, countless different races all using different tools and weaponry combined into one race with a unified goal. In regards to Abaddon, could this possibly mean that it will come as the new leader of the Flood? Seeing as it's one of the last known living remnants of the Precursors, if/when the Flood do return, it could very likely be Abaddon leading them. The real question is, leading them against who? Right now, the Created is the most likely option, seeing as they're the closest thing to Foreigners, but I honestly doubt that Abaddon would lead the Flood against the Created realistically. I'd like it to happen, but I guess only time will tell with this. Now real quick, one final thing before we move on to talking about the Jewish interpretations of Abaddon. Many Christian commentators throughout history have interpreted Abaddon in Revelation to be the Antichrist or Satan. Now, I'm not particularly sure what this means strictly for Abaddon, but it can't be good news exactly. It doesn't mean that Abaddon is some sort of morally correct saint, let's put it that way. Okay, so in Judaism, Abaddon is a very similar thing in nature, destruction. However, instead of it being an individual, it's a place of destruction, or the realm of the dead. Now, these two things point to one thing that I would like to talk about pretty specifically, but I have no idea what the conclusion is that you can draw from it, so leave your thoughts, conclusions, whatever, in the comments down below, because right now I'm pretty stumped on it. It's also worth noting that Abaddon is accompanied by Sheol. I think that's how you pronounce it, I apologise if that's wrong. Sheol often means hell, or a place of darkness where all of the dead go, righteous and unrighteous, morally good and morally bad, so it's sort of a melting pot of all the good and bad people that have died. Now, when I hear Realm of the Dead and it's referring to Halo, for some reason it instantly makes me think about the Composer's Abyss. Now, for those who don't know what that is, it's where the organic beings that are composed by the Composer are stored. The image and description that we were given of the Abyss in Escalation described it very similar to a Realm of the Dead. The souls of composed humans are affixed to the walls, still partly conscious and living, reaching out, and as you can see in this picture, almost reaching out to Blue Team to help them. That, and the fact that it's literally where the souls of the dead are stored, really make me believe that this realm of the dead is the Composer's Abyss. On the other hand, what if Sheol is the Composer's Abyss, and Abaddon acts as the ruler of it? Maybe even the keeper of it? I don't know, like I said, trying to draw conclusions from this is really damn difficult, so leave your thoughts, conclusions, ideas, links, tie-ins, whatever, between the two in the comments down below. Abaddon is often referred to as the devil in Judaism too, along with in Christianity. A passage says that torrents of Belial burst into Abaddon. Now, Belial is a term that was eventually coined as the personification of the devil. So take this as you will, but this, along with everything else that I've pointed out in this video, really paints Abaddon as an incredibly evil character. I originally only expected it to be evil against the Foreigners and anything remotely foreigner, but you know what, now after doing all this research, I'm really not so sure. I think it could be against everything in the galaxy. Its motives? No idea right now. Could be redemption for the Precursors, it could be Cortana's use of the domain, which was something that was created by the Precursors, that they may have originally only intended to be used by the Precursors, and Cortana using it could maybe be classed as blasphemy to them or something. I don't know, it could literally be anything. Like I've said, leave your thoughts, ideas, yada yada in the comments down below. And that's going to do it for today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. This video was seriously a ton of fun to research and put together, and it really shows how well thought out and philosophically deep most of Halo's lore is. And honestly, it's one of the reasons that I love it so much. The name behind everything has some deeper meaning, some relative deeper meaning that's actually worthwhile exploring, and it's not there just to be a name. It has depth to it. I'm not too sure what the next video is going to be, possibly a discussion around this piece of recent Halo news and how it could affect the series. I have a few pretty strong feelings on it, and I honestly do feel like making them publicly known, so I may or may not do that video. But either way, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed putting it together, and I'll see you next time.